Hey everyone, Neil here with the Dastardly gentleman. I've also got Frank. Say hi, Frank.
Hello.
Hello. And tonight we're going to talk about World of Warcraft. Hooray!
Subject which excites me greatly. You can't tell by my erection that you can see.
Yes.
Ad-friendly content.
So Legion came out recently, which is the newest expansion for World of Warcraft. And I'm pretty late to the game because I didn't want to spend $65 and re-register. But Frank was all over that shit. Tell him all about it, Frank.
I was a week late. I didn't get in on launch. I was depressed by that, but I did get in a week after because I ordered a special edition and it got here late.
So you pre-ordered it, special edition.
Okay, yeah, but no, I pre-ordered it. But see, the thing is, I haven't played WoW for 10 years. So, I mean, like, it's not like I didn't know what it was going to be, you know? It wasn't like it was, I was surprised that it was garbage whenever I pre-ordered it. I already knew I was going to play it. That's a pass. That's a pass.
Okay.
Shut up. Look, fuck you. I have every other one in special edition.
Except for
So,
vanilla.
but I'm probably going to take out a small loan and buy it soon. Dude, shit's $3,000. Fuck, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, you should probably not buy that. But you're
Look,
probably
you gotta catch them all, you know. Anyway, let's talk about Legion.
All right.
Legion is I would be a good way to describe Legion in I guess like moviegoer terms. It's like the I can't think of it anything, but like so like Legion. The thing about Legion is that if you've ever followed the story, and if you're ever like, man, I sure do like these characters, well, Legion's gonna say fuck you because they're killing a lot of people.
It's like the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it is like Game of Thrones. That's a good one. That's a good one because like if and I feel like that's happened to me on every expansion where like I get all pumped about it. I love the lore, and I'm like, pre I think I remember it was Cataclysm or Mr. Pandaria where Karen Bloodhoof died, the racial leader for the Torn. I was like, man, I really like Karen Bloodhoof. I'm really curious about what he's going to happen with him in the expansion. He dies. Oh fuck! No! God damn it! So that happened. That happened in Legion a few times. They happened in Draenor, which Warlords of Draenor, with a couple of characters. Most notably, like okay, so let's roll it back a little bit. Warlords of Draenor. I'm a huge lore guy. I love the story. I'm all about the story, and I played Warcraft since Orcs and Humans, the very, 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 very first one. And Warlords of Draenor was great to me because it was essentially a love letter to anyone who had ever played the original games. Because you have like, all of the old who's who of the orc clans. And it was awesome. I mean, you get to see them like, like your Ner'zhuls, your Gul'dans, your Gromosh, your Black Hands. I was wonderful. And then most of them died, and I was very, I don't know how to feel. Like especially like Ner'zhul. Ner'zhul in Warcraft becomes the Lich King. That's the Reader's Digest version. And then like to have him just die in a normal 5-man, I was like, what? Like he's the guy who blew up Draenor. So like, I feel. I feel like he should have gotten a little bit better of a send off than that.
Yeah.
This motherfucker blew up a planet in the search of power. I feel like 5 people probably whacking him. Probably not really sufficient. It's not a sufficient fight. But Warlords of Draenor introduced a thing where like you had like like one racial leader each died early, like in either Cataclysm or Mr. Pandaria going in.
Yep.
But then in Mists and for the most part Cataclysm, nobody else died. Like no really big notable characters died. But then in Warlords, you had a lot of characters that had been in the series forever die. Like just a couple. Um, Vindicator Maraud, Doomhammer, the Orc Chieftains. But then roll into Legion, the latest expansion, and like in the first 10 minutes, like racial leaders on both sides are dying. Like not like a minor faction, like the overall leader dies on both sides, and I just nosebleeds, mind blown. And you know, I dislike Varian Wren, the alliance leader, but he went out like a fucking champ.
Yeah, I saw that. That was awesome.
That was a good ass video. And like Warlords introduced a thing where Blizzard started doing cutscenes. Up until this point, they'd never done cutscenes like in their I was saying their single player stuff, in their quest lines. But now Blizzard's doing a lot of cutscenes. Like Legion's loaded with cutscenes, and they're really fucking good, and they really drive the narrative, and they make it so that people like me, who I like to raid, I like to PvP, sure, but I'm really in it for the immersion and the story because I'm old, and I like to read everything. I read every quest, and I really try to get the most out of it. And Legion has really it's like it speaks to me. It caters to me because I get rewarded for all that with like some of these cutscenes that have just been, I mean, like, oh, they're just so good. The cutscene where they're like, where Varian dies and then Vol'jin dies, and I'm like, oh my Vol'jin, my baby, no. Oh Vol'jin, why? You were the war chief for so short a time. One expansion's not long enough. Stupid.
Poor guy.
I'm so upset.
Well, I will have to disagree with you on one thing. They started doing cutscenes like crazy in Lich King. Maybe not to the extent that Legion's doing it, but they had about 4 or 5 cutscenes ingrained into the quest lines. So
that's hardly like crazy though.
Yeah, but it was like a big deal because it wasn't like pull away cutscenes and like I'm gonna render it in a whole different engine. It was rendered on the fly with character models as is. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't half-assed. I mean, right. It wasn't like Final Fantasy VII where you get polygon characters through gameplay and then totally not anything like that in the fucking cutscenes. Where it's
like straight up anime.
Yeah,
like Star Ocean did that a lot.
Yeah,
where you'd have like your little sprites, and then like you have like full beautifully rendered anime stuff, and then you go back to sprites, and you're like, I just can't anymore. It just you broke me now.
Yeah, so that was a thing back then too. My take on Legion so far, I'm like I said, I'm late to the game. I haven't really gotten too far into it, but it's interesting. It does take me back to the feeling that I had when I played Burning Crusade and Wrath of the Lich King. I mean, in my time and my age, in terms of how long I've played World of Warcraft, and how long I've played MMOs in general, I'm kind of over MMOs. And if you don't know what MMO means, it's massively multiplayer online. And then there's usually RPG after that, role-playing game. I'm kind of over it because I got shit to do. I got chores, I got a job,
Chores.
People I want to spend time with. I used to play this game a minimum 6 hours a night, and get 4 hours of sleep every night playing this game nonstop. So, yeah. I'm not that serious anymore. I mean, I'll play a couple hours here and there. You'll be lucky to see me on 4 hours per week now. So, as far as me taking in the game, it's awesome. It's great, but it's kind of less of a lifestyle and more of a idle hobby kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So it's cool. I like it. And
you went from hardcore to filthy casual. And that's fine.
Basically.
That's what I am.
I'm totally a filthy casual. And that's one of the things that Blizzard has done with, World of Warcraft, is that they have catered more to the filthy casual. Big time. I mean, you look at the original World of Warcraft. It didn't cater to shit. I mean, you had to play nonstop if you wanted to be the best. If you wanted to just clear content. I mean, you look at Molten Core, you had to have all your gear perfect. You had to have all your fire resistance, or else you will wipe and waste everybody's fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's you don't even have to have a guild to raid. Like, you don't have to know anybody. You just pop right in. And it's awesome. I mean, like, you used to have to coordinate with, 5 other people, or 4 other people, or 9 other people, or 49 other people, just to get content done. Now they cater to the people that have lives now.
Yeah, they've made it a lot more accessible. I mean, like in its original inception, World of Warcraft was very much like a lot of other MMOs that were its predecessors. You know, your EverQuests, your Ultima Onlines, where like everything was a really hardcore gear check, and you had to min max everything, in order to like get the best possible performance. And that a lot of people really enjoy that, and and I am one of them. I do enjoy that part of it, but at the same time I also value my time, now that I'm, because the game's been for 10 years, so like now that I'm, I've been, I got a job, I got kids. I don't have the, it used to be like, my wife and I would roll out of bed because, we didn't need to work at the time. Or we did work, but it was all like part-time. Like we'd roll out of bed and then we'd turn on the computers and then we'd play WoW until we got sleepy, which was usually the next day. And then we would go to bed. And then we would wake up the next morning and just repeat the cycle. We could just live in the game. We could do that. I mean, you can still do that. But, now that I'm older, I find that Blizzard has really taken an approach to making so many viable things to do and making it so accessible in such a short period of time that you can really experience really valuable content, like, full quests with dialogue, the dungeon finder, if you don't have friends. That's not what I meant, but if you don't have friends that play, the raid finder, so you can really, participate in every facet of this game without actually having to be that hardcore raider where, like, you've got your raid leader who's like a drill instructor, and you motherfuckers better have all your fire resist gear. I will come down there and I will shit kick every one of you motherfuckers. Because I did the hardcore raiding back in the day, and like it was, I was talking to one of our mutual friends the other day about we were reminiscing about old MMOs, and we started talking about World of Warcraft, and then we made the comment that a lot of people say, like, oh, WoW isn't like it we used to be back in the day. I miss back in the day. No, back in the day kind of sucked. I mean, like, because like people were fucking. I mean, like you didn't have the cross realm stuff, and there was a lot more people playing, but like people were mean. Like you couldn't see the final stuff. Like if you didn't have a hardcore raiding guild that was willing to literally put your ass through the ringer and browbeat you almost on a ritual daily basis, then you would never see that. You would never have the opportunity to see any of these bosses that Blizzard put all this effort into, unless you were in one of these top rating guilds. And then good luck getting into one.
Right.
And then not only good luck getting into one, but then you've got to dedicate all this time, because usually, like, I don't know how it is anymore, because it's different everyone, but like in our rating guild at the time, you had to put in like X amount of participation before even being considered, unless you fulfilled a very specific role.
Right.
So I mean, like, even if you do get into one of these big guilds, which a lot of times they made you fill out applications for, which was insane.
Right.
I mean, like, in hindsight, that's insane. At the time, I was like, oh, I have to do this. Now I look back at it and I was just like, I'm 31 years old and I'm putting in an application to try to play with someone, to try to play a fucking video game where I'm going to dress up a digital dolly. Are you serious?
Is this a fucking job?
I'm like, who's gonna come out of there and give me a fucking handy once I get done filling out this fucking application? What are my job perks? Do I get a 401k? You sucking my dick after this, right? I mean, like, now in hindsight, I hate that, like, and then, like, you fill out the application and then I had to go through an interview. It was a literal job.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. Like I said, in hindsight, like I look at it and I'm like, huh, I don't miss that.
Yeah.
I miss because like I think when people say I miss vanilla and they list all these things that were really kind of shitty about the game that made the game really not fun. What they miss is they miss the high level of really functioning social camaraderie that the game has bred out.
Yep.
Because like before, now they I'm assuming that we're probably going to title this Legion, and people probably who are reading this or watching this are probably going to know. They've taken the social aspect, a lot of the social aspect out of the game.
Right.
You can go almost this entire MMO without ever talking to anyone. And if you do talk to someone, you're probably going to talk to somebody who is almost entirely likely going to be super rude to you, because it used to be everyone that you talk to is on one server.
Yep.
So like if if I didn't know Neil and I was playing and Neil was rude to me, I will see Neil again and I will go, no, fuck him. Because he was rude to me last time, and everybody knows now that Neil is that guy that was rude to the main healer and whatever.
Okay.
And so like, reputation spreads. But now they got cross realm. So you've got like, rather than like, 600,000 people that are on one server that know that Neil's an asshole. Now you've got like, 4 servers of 600,000 people each that Neil can be rude to whoever he wants to. And the likelihood of him finding the same person that he was rude to that time is astronomical.
Right.
So like so you can go every instance and you can be mean as fuck to somebody and just browbeat the shit out of them. What if they're new? I mean, it doesn't matter. You can be mean to them anyway. And there's almost no chance that you'll see him again.
Right.
And that has made it really awful. It has made it it's almost like, sometimes it's almost like league levels of toxicity.
Well, yeah, I mean, you put on the absolute... you look at the game and the size of the population there, and you basically, if you're a dirty fucking internet troll, you're basing how trolly you are based on the likeliness of you ever seeing this person again. So you look at League of Legends, you look at World of Warcraft, just like Frank was saying, back in the day, you had a single server you played on. You're gonna run into these people again. And if you're an asshole, you're gonna get treated like an asshole. And you're gonna be not included in certain things, and you're gonna be basically blacklisted. Which is what should happen.
Yeah, that's part of the social part of the game.
Right. But now that, the population has skyrocketed because you're grouping in 4 or 5 other servers with your server to get, maximum efficiency in terms of getting a group together, you could be a dick and get away with it. I mean, there's no consequences now. So because of the fact that you have no consequences, you're extra trolly. And that happens for every game to where the population is that large. I mean, you look at a game like Nexus, for example. NexusTK, Nexus the Kingdom of the Winds, is the first MMO I ever played. It's got at its peak, it had a population of about 5,000 people. And it had 4 servers, but all those servers were interlinked at one time. If you were an asshole in that game, not only would you get sent to jail and have to be like quarantined off from the rest of the population, but once you came out, you got a dirty red mark on your legend there. So everybody else knew you're an asshole and I shouldn't deal with you anymore. And when you're dealing with a game like that, I mean, your reputation is important because people want you to be on your best behavior when you're representing them as a group. So if you've got, a legend full of red marks, nobody's going to trust you. You're a one-man party now from now on. So that's one of the charms that I think has left World of Warcraft is the ability to police itself.
Yeah, I mean, you actually used to have to get to know people.
Right.
And you don't have to do that anymore. I mean, it reminds me of back in, Star Wars Galaxies where it was just like that, we're single server. And then like, I remember going on like a couple of Rancor raids, and it was me, and it was Kyle, and it was a couple of other friends, I think, and we were getting ready to go on this raid. We were with like 10 other people, and then they were like, "Oh, well, let's take this like mid-range bounty hunter." And I was a master bounty hunter at the time, and I was our ranger, and I was going to be the one that was making sure that we had places to go and whatever. And then I was like, "Whoa, no, not him!" And I was like, "This guy likes to steal from people." And I was like, "Get him out of here!" And they did, and he was literally jeered out of the area.
Yeah.
And it was like it was a perfect system, because like now that guy's really got to work to get rid of the reputation that he's a fucking thief.
Right.
There's now like like you got like some guy that's like like your DPS is garbage. I hate you. Go kill yourself. I fucked your mom. And like he can just do that all day.
Yeah.
Just the worst kind of doggerel ever.
Right.
And there's there's nothing. There's nothing. You can report him, but I mean,
It'll take time. I mean, the damage is already done to you.
yeah. And versus like like I said, if it was still like it was back in the day, because I mean, like, and now that it's cross realm, it's not just. See, the thing about the WoW cross realm is that it's not just the cross realm with raid groups and grouping instances. It's cross realm like when you're actually playing.
Right.
So like like if like I play on Horde, if another Horde guy tries to go for the same flower I do, I think in Legion like it's individual now, but like if a Horde guy goes for the same flower that I go for and he gets there first, and I start to leave, and he types out some horrible slur at me, even though he's Horde, he's not on my server.
Right.
So it's like, I mean, like I can be like, I got enough. I can't do it. I mean, like I'm not even gonna engage at that point, and it's just become I can become that passive aggressive, smoldering guy in the corner. That's like in my free time while I'm drinking alone at the bar, I draw bomb diagrams. I, I'm gonna get you guys. I'm gonna get you guys so bad. We're gonna call me a dirty word. I'm gonna get him. Yeah, I just and it's very I guess like the opposite of empowering, because like before, like if you got into like an argument with somebody like in a single server, you could tell that person off, especially like like if they were coming at you like just being an ass for the sake of being an ass. You could really kind of go to the ground with them, because you're right, they're wrong, and you've got three other people that are gonna be like that know that you were right and they were wrong.
Right.
And that shit's gonna travel, versus now vote kick, I guess, because dick.
Yeah.
Vote kick because troll. And I've done that. I've tried to kick people because they're being trolly.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that have they've attempted to make it better to cater to the casual, so that you don't have to spend hours just finding a group for an instance. But along with that comes that consequence, unfortunately.
See, I would rather take the time to look for a group.
I would too, personally.
Because I mean, and like because it makes it so that you do have that level of sociability. Like because we used to have to. Okay, so just in case nobody knows, you used to have to go back to town and yell out in like a general chat, or just yell, looking for 2 more DPS to go to, let's Black Fathom.
Yeah.
And then somebody like, oh, Warlock looking for Black Fathom. Okay, invite. Warrior looking for Black Fathom. All right, invite. And then like all right guys, let's go meet up over here. And then like you journey together. You all meet up at the instance, and then like you do your thing. And it was so involved getting there and then meeting up. And, even though like it kind of felt like a job, it felt like a more personable job, where like you really actually do have to work with this person, versus now where you get into an instance, there's literally never any talking. Like right. I went so long without ever conversing anybody within an instance in both Warlords and in Legion that like whenever someone did talk, I actually couldn't remember the key command to talk to a group. Yeah. I couldn't. I was like, is it party? Is it instance? I think is it instance? Yeah, it's instance. Oh, I think it's instance. I'll just try that. Let's see if that works. Yeah, I literally couldn't remember. I'm like, I want to tell this guy good job because he said good job to me. I'm like, I don't even know I don't even know how to say it.
Target him and thumbs up. Boom.
Emotes save the day.
Yeah, so that's honestly, if I could find a game like that again, and that's not complete garbage like Nexus, to where the social aspect is there. I mean, that's the kind of game I like, is where your reputation matters,
Yeah,
because that promotes roleplay. So you're actually role playing as your character, and you're being the type of character you want to be, and it actually matters.
yeah.
So if I could find a game like that, that'd be great. But those don't exist anymore. So like like World of Warcraft, for example, nowadays, it's fun to play. It's basically a single player game, but with other people playing it simultaneously. You know?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, it's not as bad as the Old Republic, but I mean, it's getting there.
Yeah, it's getting there definitely.
Yeah, the instancing, the world instancing kills me sometimes.
Yeah.
So now that I've said it, I sort of have to explain it. World instancing in World of Warcraft is you've got your overarching area that you can quest in, but as you progress in quests, the environment may change, and in order for you to see that impacted change, they move you into different levels of an instance of that area. Here's the problem though, that say I'm working on a quest and Neil's a few quests behind me, but I got the benefit of that. A couple of people helped me do this quest, but he hasn't. He hasn't found anybody. Maybe he's in an instance that doesn't have anybody in it. Maybe he just gets on late. I don't know. Just whatever. So that I'm like, like, hey, let's go together. I'll help you with that quest. So I group with him and I go to exactly where Neil is. I can't see Neil. I can't help him with this quest because he's in a different instance in this area than I am.
Right.
And WoW is just like chopped to pieces with that now. Or so bad that in Warlords of Draenor, I spent a lot of it. I couldn't play, like, because I like to do quests and stuff. My wife plays WoW. We like to do all the quests together, and she had done one quest ahead of me, and because of that, she couldn't help me for like the almost the entire area. And it was just it was so irritating. Where like she would phase out and I would phase out, and we would phase out and in, and it does the same thing in Legion. Like if you're not on the exact same part of the quest, you're not going to get help.
Right.
The environment's not going to be the same. They're not going to be there. Or like, worst case scenario, and sometimes like, they do show up to help you, and you're like, I need to kill this big fucking demon, and they're like, what demon? And they can't see it.
Right.
And so like you get the 5 people that you need, and you're like, well, now what the fuck am I gonna do?
Right.
Because you can't kill it by yourself, but it's so irritating.
Well, that happens a lot in I don't know if you had a chance to play it yet, but Grand Theft Auto 5. This is literally the only reason why I don't like playing Grand Theft Auto 5, is because of that reason. Is okay, so at any given time, a lobby or a server has maximum like 25 to 30 people. Okay, you would think playing a game like Grand Theft Auto that you would have several servers, a lot like World of Warcraft used to. You'd have like a few hundred people in an instance in a city that you can communicate with and fight against or join up with or whatever. But you get max 30 people, and at any given time you can be switched servers, like at any time.
Wow.
So the people you're actively chasing somebody, shooting him because he ran you over, and all of a sudden you're on a different server. He's gone. You're gone. Never happened. So it's shit like that it's so irritating. And if Grand Theft Auto 5 would just get their shit together, I would never play another game. I would play that game only, because it's such a good game, but that one detail just fucks it all up.
That would be very irritating. Very irritating.
I mean, like they did such a great job with that game. Why would they fuck it up so bad like that? I don't understand. But yeah, I mean, I hear you on that one. They started doing the choppy, instanced areas in Lich King, which wasn't so bad then. I
Because
mean,
it was like it was very limited because it was like the first time they started doing it.
yeah,
And then
but
what was it? Cataclysm after that. It was a lot more harsh in Cataclysm because like they were pretty new at it. And then Mists of Pandaria, I was like, I can't. I mean, I might as well play this fucking game by myself. This
right,
that was when Mists of Pandaria is really whenever it became very not multiplayer.
right.
I hated it. That made me crazy. I mean, because I'm like, I don't even know what's happening anymore.
Yeah, I really didn't have any love for that expansion whatsoever.
I liked Mists more than I liked Kata, but like as far as functionality goes, Mists made me insane. Took me to a dark place.
Right.
What do you what do you think about what do you think about the story thus far?
It's kind of hard to get into the story.
Really?
For me, I mean, I like the cutscenes, and I do like their. It looks like they're actually planning on wrapping up the story. It's what it seems like to me.
Yeah.
Is because everybody's dying. So either they're gonna start with a whole different game, or they're just gonna end the story. Which, okay, it's been a good run. You know, it's been a long time coming. But no, I have the one reason why I didn't want to play World of Warcraft again, and this is me griping, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Is typically when I play World of Warcraft, it's because I've been goaded into it by friends. Because I'm done with the game, but I also still want to play with my friends. So if everybody's on World of Warcraft, I have to play World of Warcraft because I won't see them for months at a time if I don't play. So
Yeah.
so jump on that train, and I don't get to experience the story as much as I would like to because I'll have friends of mine that want me to level faster, or they want to interact with me while I play, which I'm not mad about, but I miss out on a lot of the storyline because people are talking, or I'm just in a hurry to get max level so I can catch up to them, and it sucks. But I mean, at the same time, I'm getting enough of the storyline. Pretty much, if even if I was playing by myself, I probably wouldn't read every line of text because I'm not a big reader.
Mm.
But um, it's not any different than any other expansion so far in terms of story. A lot of go collect 30 things and bring them back here, and I'll give you experience and an item. It's not different at all, and that bores the shit out of me. I'm just trying to power through it to where I get to the real story, where the cutscenes are. But if you don't read every fucking line of dialogue, then you kind of miss part of the story, and you don't know what the fuck's going on. So at that point, you just stop caring about the story. But the bits I have been digesting, they've been pretty good.
This expansion is primarily about Gul'dan, and that gives me the biggest boner. Gul'dan is my sweet baby man, and I love him to death. I think like what I love about Gul'dan is that like Arthas, I love Arthas as a character, but Arthas was like one of those when he was human he did wrong to do right. And then that's where he found his damnation, and then he became a bad guy. And then he became a bad guy not by his own will. And so like he was sort of like that sort of tortured character, even though like he really did a lot of really bad shit. He did a lot of really bad shit. Ner'zhul did it for him through the Helm of Domination.
Mm-hmm.
Gul'dan actively sought this out. He actively sought the power. He wants more power. Anything he can do, more power from anywhere, anything. Wants more power. And like he's just like he sees the weak because he's weak and infirm physically, and he was goaded whenever he was a child, and he was in his orc clan that like everybody shunned him because of the way that he was malformed. I mean, he just tortures the shit out of people who are weaker than him, and he's so malevolent and he's so openly evil that it's almost refreshing. Because like you've had characters up to this point, you know, Neltharion, the Earth Warder. You know, his goal was to, you know, again, to doing wrong to do right.
Right.
You know, he wanted to blow up the planet and destroy all the lesser races because they were ruining the planet. You know, like imagine if Captain America just had a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
And so then you've got Garrosh, who wants to do everything possible to make the Horde strong, and he sees all the other races as just getting in the way of making the Horde as strong as it truly could be, and he knows that the Legion's coming, so he goes to Draenor to try to make a single, solid, massive, unified horde that could stand against the Legion because he feels that the orcs are the only ones capable of doing it with all these massive machineries. And he destroys all this shit in Azeroth and just fractures so many lives. But he's doing it with the intention of his end goal being the saving of essentially the planet.
Right.
And then you've got Illidan, even in Burning Crusade. Now they've kind of retconned him a bit, like that. You know, his overarching goal was to consume as much demonic power to pass on all these skills that he's learned to fight the Legion. That's the overall basis of Legion's backstory with Illidan. So like it's a whole lot of characters that up to this point have done wrong to do right, except for Ragnaros. He just wanted to burn everything apart.
Sure.
Ragnaros just hates everything because he's fire. Why not?
Yeah.
But then now you've got Gul'dan, who's a character that this is exactly what he wants. You know, he burns Varian Wrynn alive because it's fun. He takes Tyrion Fordring and basically holds him up to a gigantic fell blowtorch because it's fun.
Yeah.
You know, I just like it's so refreshing to have like this guy who's so fucking mean that like, and he's so unbelievably powerful that like, you know, you get all these heroes and they do their these and their thous and they tip their fedoras and they milady and he drops a fucking fell comment on him, be like, suck my fell dick. I just love it. I mean, he's just so mean. I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a bad person.
No, I mean, okay, so I still need to watch the Warcraft movie.
I haven't seen it.
But I know it revolves heavily around Gul'dan as well.
I think that's why I don't want to see it, because I'm like, I don't want it to be stupid.
No,
I just don't want it to be bad.
No, I've only watched the first 10 minutes of it, and within the first 10 minutes, there's a baby orc born, and... Probably Thrall. And, you know, it's being taken with them through the dark portal.
That's him.
Yep, okay, so it's Thrall. And, you know, the war chief at the time is super pissed because, you know, so-and-so is pregnant and didn't tell anybody about it, and they're about to go into combat. And the entire time they're like, baby stops breathing. Gul'dan picks up the baby, sees a fawn over there, takes the soul of the fawn, puts it into the baby lives. And I'm like, oh shit. And then like the entire time Gul'dan's smiling, and you look back behind the entire army, and you see the dark portal being powered by just bodies of it looks like Draenor just roped and tied to the fucking stone of the dark portal, and all their souls just disappear into making the portal happen. And that's all Gul'dan's doing. So yeah, within the first 10 minutes, that shit happened.
That's fantastic. Okay, so maybe I do want to watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Gul'dan, he's just like this unmitigating force, and he's been that way since the inception of Warcraft.
Yeah.
You know, and like his like a lot of characters, you know, over the course of time have really been retconned to be like either like a little bit more noble than what their original writing was.
Right.
Gul'dan is the opposite. I mean, like he's actually gotten substantially worse. Like, you know, because like the orcs in the beginning were basically the bad guys. You know, you could play the good guys, humans, bad guys, orcs.
Right.
And then Warcraft 2, you know, it was kind of the same. You know, you're trying to defend against the orcs. The orcs are the aggressors, but then like, you know, you start seeing like the different races that comprise the horde. But then in the third one, you know, you really got like that division of that. It's just two different cultures that just can't mesh. You know, and it's through, you know, it's just through overall racial tension, and they just can't. But then, Gul'dan though, he is the aggregator of everything.
Right.
I mean, he is the beginning. He's the beginning and he's the end. He's made the dark portal. He's the one that contracted with the demons. He ruined the Horde. He ruined Azeroth. I mean, he is the seed of everything bad. And it is I talk a lot about to our various friends who I'm sure get sicker and shit about me talking about stuff they don't know because they don't read any of it. How I hope certain things to transpire where it does sound like they're wrapping it up. But here's my thing. This is my moment. First of all, I think Jaina Pradmore is a demon lord or a dreadlord. I do. I think she's a Nethrezim. I think Jaina died a long time ago. Truly, I do. And I think that in this expansion, she's going to be revealed to be a Nethrezim, and I think that's going to be fantastic. And what I want so bad because Gul'dan's willing to do anything for more power, as we've already said.
Mm-hmm.
I want him to want Illidan's body, to use Illidan to help him kill Jaden and the other Eridar, and to steal their souls, thereby their power, and then to power up. And then I want Gul'dan to kill Sargeras and take his power. And I want this expansion to end with Sargeras dying to Gul'dan, and Gul'dan to be the final bad guy of World of Warcraft.
That's pretty cool.
That would be amazing because, like I said, it begins with Gul'dan. Everything that's transpired in Warcraft, not just World of Warcraft, Warcraft history starts with him. So, like, you start with him, you end with him. That would be sublime. I mean, that would be like to me, that would be like a full spectrum, just tour de force of a character that has spanned, almost 30 years of treachery and murder and just dark forces, and then you finally overcome them in the end. I see that in one of the upcoming, I think it's the Court of Stars raid. He's the Nighthold raid. He's the final boss. I'm pulling that he doesn't die. I'm really hoping he doesn't die.
No, they still got it. I mean, this expansion just came out, so they got a solid year or two before they released that shit.
That's what I thought about, Ner'zhul. That's what I thought about Kargath Bladefist. Kargath Bladefist is the leader of the Bladefist clan in Warlords of Draenor, and he's the second fucking boss in Highmaul. And they killed. Oh, I'm sorry, he escaped. But then, Kilrog Deadeye was the war chief of the Deadeye clan, and he was like the third boss in Hellfire Citadel. And then who knows what the fuck ever happened to everybody else? Gromosh is missing. Kargath is missing. Blackhand died. Ner'zhul unfortunately died. I still cannot believe he died. I mean, the send-off is fucking pathetic.
Yeah.
Especially since he's mentioned by name. All of them are mentioned by name throughout Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King. They talk about their roots in all of those games. And then even in Warlords of Draenor, they mention them, if you get the inn, they mention all of these guys as you get quests for their different areas. They mention about the impact they had in the primary timeline.
Right.
And so to have them just kind of check out, especially Gromosh has not showed up. He gets deposed after Blackhand gets killed in Warlords of Draenor.
Right.
And so Gul'dan takes over and basically makes the Iron Horde the bad horde, they were in the first game, and he's just after Hellfire Citadel, he's just gone. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, he's Gromosh fucking Hellscream. I mean, if you ever play Warcraft 3, he's in it all throughout the entire thing. I mean, he's right there with Thrall. Thrall called him his blood brother.
Right.
Where the fuck is he? He's just gone. I mean, and where's Bladefist? He apparently, if you play Highmaul and Mythic and you beat him, he takes off. You don't kill him. He escapes. So, and that's supposed to be the actual story. So let me touch on that.
Okay.
You have to play shit on Mythic in raids to get the full story out of it, and that is horseshit.
Oh, yeah.
That is bullshit because you can't looking for raid this shit. You actually have to get 20 people together, and then you have to beat super fucking hard content in order to find out what actually fucking happens, like the actual written story. That's horseshit to me. I hate that.
Yeah.
I mean, as a person who like drinks up this lore like a fine wine, to have it put behind that kind of a wall where I have to hope like hell that 19 other fucking people can keep their shit together in order for me to find out, does this guy actually die?
Right.
You know? So like our little group of compatriots is going to have to do Nighthold on Mythic so I can find out if Gul'dan actually dies. Oh
Yeah.
God! I know that I've said it out loud and I thought about it. I'm like really depressed. I'm like, fuck.
You could just wait till another guild does it and watch it on the YouTubes.
You know, I'll probably do that. No, we're doing really good. We're doing really good. I think that we'll make it.
Well, I doubt this is going to be the last podcast we talk about World of Warcraft.
No,
But
I can't. I've literally talked for hours about the lore of World of Warcraft. So if you like that,
yeah, let us know. I'm sure Frank has a plethora of dialogue he'd like to throw out for you.
I've read almost every Warcraft book that they've put out. To be fair, I don't just read Warcraft books. I'm not that guy.
That is true. Well, thanks for listening and watching. If you liked what you heard, please rate, comment, subscribe. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Donate on Patreon. Please and thank you. We'll have a new podcast up soon. But until next time, see you later.